Why, hello dearest you, and welcome back to a new video. I haven't uploaded in a long time. I'm sorry, I was in a bit of a learning problems, just learning for my final exams. That's a bit stressful. But today I'm back again because of course I am. You probably noticed that I streamed Ori in the Blind Forest. It did go pretty well. I mean, it did lag a bit and the frame rate's not that great, and also the quality of the video, but I mean it's beginner's problem, so it will probably fix itself sometime. And now we're back with a new video discussing Silksong's ending. But before we do that, you might say, well, Beach Dog Proletarian, you're a bit of a rip-off, aren't you? You already did 2 videos basically on Hollow Knight Silksong's ending, so aren't you getting a bit tired of that topic, and why are you doing another one? Well, excellent question. To the first one I say, no, I don't get annoyed talking about the same game, even though it's still not released and we still haven't got any info. April fooled us. Maybe May will prove maybe better. Fun joke. And well, discussing the ending is probably the most important part, because it's the one thing that will have the most effect on anything, on the whole timeline of the games and of the characters themselves. Because you see, gameplay wise it's already really interesting and stuff, and talking about the different locations and all that and what we're going to see, that's all fine and dandy. That's probably the most important part of the game, of course, what we're going to see and experience and play, and how long it will be and how big and all that stuff. But more important is the question, what will happen after that, because as far as I know, there hasn't been any confirmed things on a third Hollow Knight third Hollow Knight game. So either this might be a conclusion, or they might do one after this game. I do hope so, because I love the series. I wouldn't want to become overcrowded like 10 Battlefront games or something. But just to have a good, nice trilogy or quadrilogy or something, I don't know. That would be kind of sweet. But I mean, it's their decision. They have to in the end look what's best for their game, for their brand, and for themselves as well, because they're probably not the people who will be like, oh, we need to do 20 games because of commercials and merchandise and stuff. They do it because they love to do games, and because Team Cherry is very splendid at doing games and want to do them for the fans that are eagerly awaiting their next installment. Now, discussing the ending is controversial because many people hold different opinions on how this game will end. It could end in many different ways, and we're going to talk about a few ones right here on this little panel of mine. It's going to be we'll see how long this video goes. I'm doing this a bit unprepared, and you can all write your things down in the comments below, as you always tend to do. And I hope you enjoy this video. Also, congrats on Stizzle on reaching 500 subscribers. I just wanted to say congratulations. Well, let's start discussing a few options of Silksong's ending. So, we already know that the most important location in Farloom is going to be the Citadel at the end of the journey, most likely, because we still don't know if there might be another area coming after that one. It might be some sort of like a White Palace situation where you might have to go somewhere else, find some stuff there, and then the ending's going to be different. I do hope that there are going to be different endings. I'm pretty sure of it, that there are probably going to be a lot of different ways to experience the ending. For example, in the last game we had the Temple of the Black Egg, where basically everything went down, except if you did the Godmaster endings, where then would have been the Godmaster location. But I'm pretty sure the Shining Citadel is going to be similar, that it's going to be the basically final chapter where the journey splits into 2 options, or 4 or 5, or depending on the things you decide during your journey and what you do. And we're going to face off probably against a knight. In the trailer we see a knight of the cult, most likely the cult because he's wearing the symbol of Fallen, but it's still debatable. Fighting Hornet in sort of a shadowy but also kind of church looking location, and most people guess that is going to probably be the Shining Citadel. They have said that there have been images of the Shining Citadel. I think Team Cherry confirmed that a few images of the Shining Citadel have been floating around in the trailers and stuff, or that, yeah, well, something that they are definitely around. So that's probably a most likely location for the Shining Citadel, the design wise and stuff. And probably shit's going to go down there. If the Shining Knight, basically the one we fight in the Citadel in the trailer, is the final boss, which I don't think so, it'll probably end up in defeating the cult and maybe ridding Farloom of its influence, which would be pretty straightforward. You know, you've got the bad cult, You kill bad cold people, you defeat leader of cold by game over, and Hornet returns home. But that's a pretty boring ending, non-spectacular, and doesn't really fit into the series that much, you know, with its dark atmosphere and its whole twists and turns and the whole lore of the world and stuff. So what other things could happen? Well, it goes to reveal that there's another entity hunting Falum. Falum itself, you know, like a... Basically, you're fighting the spirit of the kingdom itself, and that's going to be the final boss. And when you defeat the spirit, then maybe Falum will be freed. Now, where do I get this information about the spirit? Well, perhaps from the Falum's Folly, which was analyzed by me and Stuzzle, respectively. And we've discussed that this entity might be something either means the curse, because it tells of a monster that basically awakens. So it either could be, you know, like an actual monster, or maybe a spirit, or something that holds the kingdom together, and that's who probably conductor Romano is talking about in his little poem, Falum's Folly. You can check that video out, by the way. I'll leave information stuff up above. You can just click on it, and maybe that's the final boss, like a giant monster which haunts Falum or is responsible for the curse. We still don't know the origin of the curse, or even what exactly this curse upholds, because it has been said, for example, in the Nintendo event by the people playing the Silksong demo, that these workers are basically cursed, but they're still doing their jobs for some higher go up above. They're sending materials up above into the citadel, probably. So perhaps there's a big construction site at the citadel, which could mean that there's like a giant robot or thing you also have to fight, or maybe it's for some giant magical concussion, which we also maybe have to fight, like a wizard or stuff. Others have maybe guessed that maybe Lace and her following might be the final boss. Or perhaps you fight her either one last time, but in her ultimate form or something, or that her masters and stuff might be evil. Others maybe think the Assassin's Masters, you know, or maybe like Jin's Masters could be a potential source of evil. I wouldn't think they would be the final boss, but maybe like some sort of end game or later game boss. It's kind of hard to nail down what the final boss of Falum is going to be. But more important is going to be what happens if you defeat that curse or spirit or monster, whatever. What will happen to Falum? Well, the question remains if the curse will be lifted as soon as its origin is well destroyed, because it's probably going to end with you destroying the curse somehow, or the curse continuing on and something occurring to Hornet, maybe that she has to sacrifice herself to stop the curse, or maybe she has to use her Weaver magic to destroy the curse, because the Weavers, we already know, are going to play an important part in this game as well and in its lore. So they're probably going to be in some way or form connected to the ending. We don't really know how Hornet is going to achieve this set ending and what options there might be. As I said, there might be like an option where you travel back to some other location, find a missing piece of lore, and then in the end you can maybe fight the real final boss, and that might be it. So the endings might differ. But what else? What else could happen to the world of Falum, and even Halness, which is more important? What will happen to Halness after Silksong ends? Well, the question remains basically if the effects or the things that will happen in Falum will have any reach on Halness itself and on citizens, which probably have built up like a new civilization up above. They might have, you know, grown in population and stuff, so Halness might be sort of settled again. But what will affect them? Well, it can only be something that is so catastrophic that it might actually terrorize the entire world of Halness and Falum, or how the whole world of Hollow Knight is called. So the giant spirit might free itself and terrorize the landscape, or we might have a return of the dark shadow creature at the end of the Godmaster DLC, so that creature might come back in Falum and be the real final boss, which would also be very interesting. A bit weird, because, you know, that would basically confirm one of the endings, at least in the first game. And that's also going to be important, because if all endings are canon, it can't really affect Halness that much, or can't touch on it really that much, because if all endings canon, that either means that the Knight is either the new source of the, or well, has been affected by the Radiance, is basically controlling it with its hollow body, or that Hornet and the real Hollow Knight actually do something together, that they fight or something, that would have to touch on that subject. You know, that it would basically destroy every basic canonicity they had for these endings, because if it's going to touch on Howlness, then we have to know how Howlness is doing, and that would basically already confirm one of the endings. That's also going to be a problem for this game, because if all endings are canon in this game, then what's really happening? You have like 50 different timelines. Like in one timeline, the knight sacrificed itself, and the Falun timeline, Hornet sacrificed their health, so they're both dead, and everything is lost. Or what exactly happens? How are they going to do with that policy? Well, it's going to be interesting to see what will happen, how it will affect the whole world of Hollow Knight in general. It's unclear what to say exactly, because, you know, we don't have any evidence for the ending. We already know that it's going to probably take place in the Shining Citadel, but what will happen after that we don't know. What if the knight is basically lord to an even superior cult commander or something, and you have to fight him? Or what if he's servant to the king, and the king is also the leader of the cult or something, and then you have to fight the king? What if, I don't know, somehow a giant weaver is the boss or something? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. But we have all these different things in this game already. We have Silksong, which is going to be a big element. We have the curse, which is going to be a big element. We have the cult, which is going to be a big element. We've got the Shining Citadel, which is going to be a final element. We've got the law of the whole world, which we need to discover. So I'm just kind of cynical, or well, kind of a critic at the moment, because I don't know how they're going to bring all these different things which they have into one final conclusion, because they've got all these different topics, you know, these different religious topics and lore topics, and the whole world and stuff, and the characters, and how they're all going to bring it into one epic conclusion is beyond me. But they're going to have some plan. I mean, they can't just be unprepared for everything. So we'll just have to wait and see, dear viewer, and until then, you'll leave down your answers in the comments below of what you think will happen in Silksong, how events will unravel, how the whole world of Falun will be affected, and maybe even affect the world of Howlness, and what will happen to our beloved characters after the game ends. Will they live happily ever after? Will the knight... Oh wait, no, he's dead, or, well, with the Radiance connected, I don't know, he's not there anyway. Will the Hollow Knight and Hornet team up and be a duo and have a third game where they fight the giant shadow creature and whatever haunts Falun? Will there be some sort of epic boss battle at the end where you fight like a 3 stories tall monster and kills everything and destroys the world, and you have to do like cool quick events stuff and defeat it? Or what will happen? Give me your answers down again in the comments below, and I'll speak to you soon. Farewell, dear viewer.